Hi everyone, I'm Sam. I'm with the Seasonal Tokens project, and I'm going to explain the options that Seasonal Tokens gives to investors and how they can use those options to guarantee that the long-term value of their investment will increase every time they trade. There are four tokens: Spring, Summer, Autumn, and Winter. They're cryptocurrencies. They're mined using proof of work like Bitcoin. They've been designed to fit together into a system that lets investors reliably increase the value of their investment in the long term by trading between the different tokens. The four tokens are equally valuable in the long term because they've been designed so that the token which is the most expensive will keep rotating. Winter is the most expensive now. 9 months from now, spring is likely to be the most expensive, and then summer 9 months after that, and so on. So they're equally good in the long term, but they have different prices today. That's so that investors can trade the expensive tokens for the cheap ones and then have more tokens overall. Winter is the most expensive, and spring is the cheapest. If you were to trade winter for spring, you'd have about 60% more tokens than you had before. So you can increase the long-term value of the investment by 60% in a single trade because spring tokens and winter tokens are worth the same in that long term. If you just follow the rule that you always trade tokens for more tokens of a different type, then the number of tokens in your investment will go up every time you trade and it will never go down. And these tokens are becoming harder to obtain over time because once every 9 months, the rate of production of one of the tokens is cut in half. So you can keep getting more tokens by trading them for each other, even as they're getting harder and harder to obtain. That is what you want in an investment. The system was designed to let investors do this. Spring is the cheapest right now because it's the cheapest to produce. On the 5th of June, it's going to become the most expensive to produce. It's produced at the fastest rate right now, and then it will be produced at the slowest rate for 9 months. So it's going to become more expensive to buy than the other tokens over time. If you're an investor and you buy spring tokens today when they're cheap, you'll be able to trade them for more tokens of other types later on when spring is expensive. So that explains why an investor would want to buy spring tokens. But the next thing we need to explain is, why would anybody buy any of the other tokens if spring is the one that's going up in price next? And the reason is, the other tokens give you options today that you don't get with spring. You can increase the number of tokens you have every time you trade the more expensive tokens for the cheaper ones. Spring is the cheapest today, so you can't trade it for more tokens. If you have winter tokens, you can trade them for spring, summer, or autumn, and you get more tokens in total. So you get three options with winter, and you don't get any with spring. Those options are valuable. They give you the chance to watch the prices for a good opportunity and then take advantage of it. There are fluctuations in the prices, and there's volatility, and that makes the options valuable because it means that sometimes the winter price will fluctuate up at the same time as one of the other tokens goes down. Then you can make the trade and use the price fluctuations to get a good deal. You could buy spring tokens, but you could get even more spring tokens by buying winter and then waiting for the right time and trading them for spring. So it's the options that you get and the chance to trade tokens for more tokens that makes the other tokens worth buying. If you buy spring, you'll have to wait until it becomes more expensive to make your trades and increase the long-term value of your investment. If you have any of the other tokens, you can use the fluctuations in prices to make your investment grow faster, and that's something you'll want to do as often as possible. Now that we can see how the price of the tokens are kept in the right order, let's look at what's going to happen next month and how it's going to change the market dynamics. On the 5th of June, the rate of production of spring will be cut in half. The cost of production will double. Spring will go from being the cheapest token to produce to being the most expensive. Spring is the cheapest today because it's the cheapest to produce, and miners can sell it at a profit at the lowest price of the four tokens. If you buy a lot of spring today, you'll push the price up, but it will be temporary because miners are creating new tokens and selling them every day, and they'll sell when you push the price up, and then they'll take that profit and they'll push the price back down, and spring will then be the cheapest again. After next month, that just won't be true anymore. Investors can buy spring tokens and trade other tokens for spring, and they'll push the price up over time. The miners won't be able to produce spring more cheaply than the other tokens. They'll still sell, but they won't be able to profitably sell the spring tokens they mine for less than the other tokens because spring will be more expensive to produce. The forces that push spring back down below the others today won't do that later this year. Those forces will push the other prices down below spring instead. There are cheap spring tokens on the market right now, but when spring is the most expensive to produce, that stockpile of cheap spring tokens will be gradually brought up as investors trade the other tokens for them. People will trade other tokens for a bigger number of spring tokens while they still can. The other tokens combined outnumber spring, so it's not possible for everyone with a different token to get more than one spring token for it. The cheap spring tokens will run out. They'll become more expensive than the other tokens, and then they'll stay that way for as long as they're the most expensive to produce. The project is almost 9 months old. Mining started on the 5th of September 2021. Until now, all of the tokens have been produced at a constant rate. Winter has always been the hardest to produce, and spring has always been the easiest, and the prices have reflected this. Next month, there will be the first change in the rate of production. The mechanism that makes the prices oscillate around each other will be activated for the first time. It will be the first step around a cycle that will take 3 years to repeat. The tokens are listed on major price tracking websites, so everyone will be able to watch as the price of spring rises above summer and the other tokens over the following year. That will demonstrate in the public that it's possible to use systems with multiple tokens and multiple prices to engineer an investment that has the characteristics that we want. Thank you all so much for listening, and I really hope to see you in the seasonal tokens community very soon.